Welcome to this tutorial on Documents Data Miner 2, commonly referred to as DDM2. DDM2 is produced by the Wichita State University Library, and they get their data from GPO directly. It's an extremely useful tool, and let me show you some of the features that are most commonly used. I'm going to start with the depository selection and directory feature. With this, you can look up a depository by number, but you can also pull up all depositories for a given state. In this case, I'll use Montana as an example. So here you'll see all the depositories in Montana with their item selection percentage, and if you click on any of the depository numbers, you get to a screen where you can do a custom report for a specific library. So in this case, if I wanted to see everything that Carroll College is selecting in paper, I could do so. You can just do a drop down here for the format. Also, if I wanted to see everything that the library is not currently selecting under unselected, I could also do that. So when you get to the point in the year where you want to choose new items to add to your profile, it may be helpful to look at things that you're not currently selecting. In this case, let me look at all the things that Carroll College is currently selecting in paper. So what this gives you is a custom report based on all the things that the library is selecting. What's also really nice is if you use the shelf list feature, it will show you some examples of recent things sent within this particular item number. So it's really nice on occasion to see concrete examples of what comes to your library based on this specific item number. It also gives you a sense of how frequently things will come to your library. I'll also point out that you can export your whole selection profile or a portion of it to Excel, which can be much easier to work with. That's a really nice feature. The next thing I'll show are the custom shipping lists. This is something that selected depositories absolutely adore. As a regional, I just use the shipping list that I get because I'm supposed to receive everything on it. But for selected depositories, it can be extremely helpful to create a custom shipping list based on only the things you're supposed to receive. It saves a lot of time that way. So what you can do is put in a specific depository number. In this case, I'll keep using Carroll College as an example. I'll put in their depository ID. And I could put in, for instance, the shipping list I had in my hand, put in the number for that to get a custom list. In this case, I'm just going to use a specific month as an example and submit that. And what I see here are a number of shipping lists, and the item or the number in red shows you how many items are supposed to be in your box, essentially, if you are at Carroll College. So this kind of customizes what you're supposed to receive. I'll use one of the paper examples here. So this shows me, for this particular shipping list, 2009 359P, really what was supposed to be in the box was just this single item, basically. If you click on the PDF, you'll see the full shipping list, which gives you an idea of the difference between the full list versus what was supposed to be in the box for your library, for instance. And the other really nice feature is it gives you sometimes an option to download MARC records for these items, so that can be a time saver as well, as opposed to finding the correct record on OCLC or relying on going through a Z39.50 connection. Very nice. The feature that I use most frequently on DDM2 is far and away the superseded list. I can go get a paper copy, but sometimes I just want to look up for a specific SUDOC stem to see if what I have in hand is superseded or latest edition only or things like that. So I'll give you an example. If you had, for instance, some older budget items from the Prex series, what you could do is put in the SUDOC number or the item number or the title. I tend to do SUDOC number more than anything. And follow the examples here for truncated and wildcard searches. Click on Submit. And in this case, I typed in the SUDOC incorrectly, but it gives you a good example. So for instance, Prex 3.8 is actually a Veteran Affairs Department item, and it gives me the sense that I can actually discard these handbooks if they are revised. Also for the regionals, it'll give you a little R if it's something that the regional is supposed to retain in perpetuity. I'm actually going to go back and do the example I had in mind to begin with, which was actually Prex 2.8, which is the budget. So this gives you a range of items, and it tells you that for basically all of these, you can keep the most recent edition effectively. So it's very helpful in that sense. The last example I'll show is the list of classes online. So at selection time, this is very helpful to get a shorter version of what's available for a given agency, to narrow it down by format, to see the status, things like that. So if I wanted to see everything new in the Forest Service, as an example, I would put in the SUDOC STEM, or I could select the agency. And let's say I really only wanted to see what's available in paper for this agency. I could put in that request, and it gives me 40 records, effectively, of items from the Forest Service that are available in paper. It gives me sometimes the frequency, but this can be a little less overwhelming sometimes than using the book in full, and you can experiment with it to see if it's useful for you. One last thing I'll mention, you could also use the MARC locator feature to retrieve MARC cataloging records for many items. Again, this could be a nice time saver. So I hope this has been a helpful overview of some different things available with DDM2. I hope you experiment with this resource. It's extremely helpful, and if you have any questions at any time, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks for listening.